answer, let its light show the way. 'Cause I'll tell you now, you're here for a reason. You're no accident. You're the answer to a problem. You were heaven, heaven sent.
Not quite what I wanted to capture, but we'll go ahead with it. There we go. We got our window capture going on now. Let's make sure it stays put. Thank you. Alright. And it's getting time. Time indeed for the show. The chat over there. Hey, yes you are, Mr. Ubi. You are indeed first. First. Booyah. Booyah. There we go. Alright, so we are picking back up with our futuristic scene. Hey, Wheelie, good to see you. It's been a while. Thank you. Yeah, we are working on this futuristic scene. And so what we've done so far is we put in the moon. It's all fragmented, and we put a gate that is going to lead who knows where. Now, we get to decide what we want to do with this particular scene, where we want to work next. Let's see. Do we want to work on, what do we want to work on tonight? Do we want to work, oh, we were doing the landscapes, that's right, we decided last week, that's where we were going next, was the landscape. So I'm going to close out of that. Trying to remember from week to week sometimes is a little difficult. So now we kind of have our layout of that. Now we're going to come in here and I'm going to put a new layer over the top so I can just use these as guidelines for tracing out. And I guess we can kind of decide. I wish it wouldn't default to the specialty brushes. Kind of annoys me. Not too bad. Alright, there we go. And that's huge. We need to track that way back down. Alright. That's the, oh, and that's okay. Just take a look, and if something comes up while I'm working on it, by all means, feel free to contribute it. Because this is your space, just as much as it's my space. And together, we cooperate in what we create. So I'm going to come over here to this far edge, the right-hand side, and we're going to work on this building on this edge over here. And I kind of have an idea for where I want to go with it, so we'll see if I can actually make it work or not. We're going to make it all black to begin with, and then I'm going to come in with more tints and tones and things like that and kind of change it up a bit. But we'll start with just plain black. And I'm going to come down here. How have you been? It's been a while since we've been seeing each other. I know you were pretty regular for a while, and then I messed up, and I was out of town and couldn't stream, and I'm sure life's been happening for you. But I am glad to see you here tonight. All right, we're going to look for some of those, pick up some of those grays. Oh, you were sick. Yikes. That's rough. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. You have a few things published. Very nice. Very nice. Let me see. You're a moderator, so you can, in fact, pop links to them in the chat if you wanted to do that. Mm.
Mwah.
Yep, I did. I got kissed on the top of the head. A kiss is a kiss nonetheless. Okay. Now we're gonna pull out and we're gonna pull out. We're gonna pull back and we're gonna do some of that blue.
Block your vision.
I appreciate that. Patience from this. It's really annoying. Alrighty, and now we can do something cool. Come over here. Top down a little bit the size. Come in here. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. We can think about that. Might be kind of cool, wouldn't it? way I want, but we're gonna work on it. We're gonna keep working on it until it does. Until it looks shiny, as they say. That's better. I'm liking that better now. We still need to put in the gradient and everything for it, but I'm liking it way better the way it looks. You're having a hard time hearing me? That's probably because I'm not doing much talking. Let me though try to pull my microphone closer to me. I've been it's been pushed to the side because I've been working on some projects. Mostly writing projects lately. But I'm getting close to having at least one of them finished up and quite happy with how it's turning out, so. It's one of those projects where I didn't really see this one coming, and I certainly didn't anticipate where it took me, but I'm glad that I went with it. Now I'm going to put some really thin lines on that. I'm actually quite happy with how that blue looks right now. It's much better than it was. But I do want to make sure that we have the windows kind of trimmed. Maybe a little bit thicker. Yeah, I do see it. I do see the potential for it for sure. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I mean, this is supposed to be a futuristic scape, so if we get flying saucers running about, that's not a problem. Fits right in with the rest of it. That's better. It's looking more like windows and less like hot garbage. Yeah. Add a little bit of a shadow maybe. But I do want to lighten the gray just a little to give it a little bit of highlight on the sides there. And then blend that in. You made a sketchbook. Nice. I'll have to check that out. I've actually never done one of those, at least not on Amazon. Done quite a few other things on Amazon, although I don't tend to use Amazon much anymore for listing my books and stuff. They lost my trust. I really don't like the way that they treat authors, and they honestly built their business on the backs of authors, and then now that they've gotten where they are now, they no longer feel like they need us and treat us accordingly. So I don't really like that kind of business mentality. I'm a big believer in treating customers like solid gold, because they are. It doesn't matter how much you make, or you were never ever that big, in my opinion. Alright, that's good. Good. Now let's talk about our flying saucer on the other side. We're gonna put some gold in the bottom there, some yellow light. So I'm gonna come over here. Right there. Oh, I guess I should both turn on the paintbrush and increase the size a little bit. Come over here. And we'll move it up to the grays. Hey, it's Malachi. Good to see you, sir. How you been? How you been? And how's the family? Okay. Toss some colors on it and we'll blend it a little bit. Bright yellow. Pick over the top of it. Take us out some make it better. Then you begin to make it better. Not sure I'm doing too great a job with the UFO attempt, but, you know. Sometimes, as my husband would say, you gotta embrace the suck of the moment to get to the better place you want to be. You're definitely kind of sucking here. But it's alright. We'll figure it out. We always do. Oh, mozzarella sticks and marinara. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'll be enough. Just the nibbles.
Kind of tastes like mozzarella.
Yeah, kind of. Not entirely sure that I'm improving this, but you know what? We're going to keep on going for this. We're going to give it our best. Or as they would say in anime, we're going to give it our best. think I've just made it mud. Yeah, I'm not sold on that. Erase that and try again. Sometimes that too is what you gotta do. The other thing that might help is if I tried popping up some kind of reference for myself. But, alright. Let's imagine we're a 3D object in space, right? And turn off this other stuff and see if I can't help myself picture it better that way. Turn off that layer. Turn off the blue light and the moon and the building. We're just going to try and focus on this aspect. That flying saucer-ish shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to grab it out of there. No. Grab the whole thing, not part of it. Alright. I'm gonna put my pen down for a moment, come over with the mouse, and then pick it. I always recommend you label your layers. It makes it somewhat easier for you to tell what's going on. We'll just label that the outline. I'm going to turn off the others so I can just focus on this. Rid all of the crap that is not related to the saucer. Hey, Linda! No worries. We're just working on turning this piece of the drawing into a flying saucer. And all you missed was me making a hot mess of that. Oh, it's my first attempt to draw a flying saucer, and boy did I botch it. Hardcore. Alright, so we're gonna do this. I'm gonna pull this down here. I'm gonna slightly enlarge it. And that way it'll make it easier for me to draw. Just focus on that. Okay, so that's the outline of the saucer-ish object. And now I need to imagine and visualize. So I'm going to come in with white so that it overlaps and I can see what I'm doing. All right, so let's imagine that this is an ellipse, and here's the bottom of our saucer, really raggedy. And here it comes out, a little bit of a lip to it. It comes back in, and then it has this dome shape where the pilot or whatnot would be seated. And then it has this, which is the exhaust area. So those are the points where we're going to be working on. Hi, how are you recovering from surgery? How are things going? Yeah, we decided to put a flying saucer in there. You know, for funsies. Because why not? And then we're going to come back over here, and I'm going to kind of stroke over these a little bit. Turn off that outline now that I've got the white in place. And I can more see what's going on. So this is like the bottom of the saucer. And that's a ridge. And this is where the exhaust would be. And then maybe we're gonna make it some ridges here. So that it comes in like that. Boop, boop, boop. And then this is where the pilots are sitting. So pop that back in there. Kind of looks like a flying top of a mushroom, but that's okay. You know what? Then we're gonna put a ring around the rosy there. All right. So that's good. That's better. I missed you. Oh, you have another operation? Wow. That's rough. That is... Oh. You're just so young, too. That's so hard. But you're facing it with a positive attitude, and I totally admire that. Not everyone does. Not everyone handles adversity well. Peekaboo! Yes, you did. And I'm so glad you did. I am always so glad when you guys show up. It always tickles me to have you here. And the things that we create together are just the bomb. Just the bomb. Alright, we're gonna put this here. And we're gonna outline these here. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Yes, I think, but I'm not sure. You don't get scared. You got absolutely you do, ma'am. Absolutely you do. And that is a good reason not to be scared, because you know you got the boss man backing you. You got somebody that nobody can defeat. Even death doesn't trump him. No pun intended. No matter what happens, you've got the best backing you. This is a little bit crazy for a UFO, but you know what? It's okay. It's looking better, though. Oh. Yes, definitely praying for you. Once you step into my crew, my girl, you guys are always in my prayers. You have no idea what you have done by stepping into my... Once you get into my channel, you are on my prayer list. You can't help it. I don't ask permission. I just do. Because I know that even if I don't know what you need, God does. So I'm going to lift you up to Him. And I'm always going to ask Him to give you what you need in whatever moment you're facing. Once you're here, you're part of mine. And nobody comes into my channel without getting prayed over. Fair warning. That's better. This time around, our UFO is looking better. It was looking pretty sus in the last rendition. Pretty sus indeed. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to be for others what I often didn't have in my own life, which is a light to help me find the way. I had a lot of darkness to go through and not a lot of people who were being that light. Fortunately, I did have God on my side, even if I didn't always know him well. He was always there for me, and I look back on it and I see it so much clearer now that I'm older than I did when I was in the moment. I know for a fact I would not be where I am now without him. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate knowing that. You know, sometimes people will say things, and you don't know if you're making a difference or not. You just step up and you try to be who you can be. Try to be the best you can every day. Hope that maybe it goes a long way somewhere. Alright, let's get some lighter lights going on. Big believer that the world could use a lot more hope in it. And if I can be a little bit of that hope for somebody else, I'm happy. If there's anything I have realized over the last few weeks, it is how important it is that we be a source of positive energy in this world that is so drawn with negative, so torn up and hurting. And so many people don't know that they're loved, and so many people don't know that they've got this brilliance within them that's meant to be shared. And that they're not an accident, that they're not just some random effect of the universe. They are an intentional being brought into this universe with a purpose and for a plan, and one that is good for them, one that is going to make them happy and joyful. We often get so afraid that what God asks of us is going to make us miserable, that we won't bow to him. And the truth is, all he ever wanted, all he's ever done is try to make us happy. He really does want what's best for us. Even if sometimes it seems like he's the enemy of our happiness, he's really the author of it. The author of our ultimate happiness. You know, this saucer is looking really cool. Wheelie, thank you so much for suggesting this. I wasn't sure I could pull this off, but thank you for the suggestion, because I think this just kicked this thing up a notch. I can't wait to get finished with it so we can see it in retrospect in the scene. It's just looking really cool. And I wouldn't have thought to do it. I wouldn't have done it on my own. Just like I said, you guys always make my art better. Just by being here. Just by being here. You don't have to do anything special. You are enough. I am grateful for every single person that connects to me or to Ubi. I've had the chance to get to know because of this adventure. You guys challenge me in my art skills, and that makes me better. You know, there are sometimes you guys suggest things, and I'm like, I don't know if I can pull that off or not, but I give it a try for your sake and find out, wow, okay, I can do better than I think I can sometimes. And that's the benefit of a good community, is they do challenge you to do things you didn't really think you were capable of doing. And you find out, wait, I guess I'm capable more than I thought I was. Thank you. I appreciate you saying so. You guys are all blessings. And like I said, you all inspire me. Every single person in this channel has gone through something really, really hard and faced it with courage and come out a better person on the other side of it. And that's not something just anybody can do. Most people, in the face of that kind of adversity, the kind of stuff that you guys have faced up to, crumble and fall apart. You guys have stood up and decided, no, that's not how my story ends. That's not going to be the end of me. I'm fighting. And you got back up, and you put your dukes back on, you know, and you fought for a better life and a better way forward, and to bring that better sense of better to other people. That's huge to me. I have all the respect in the world for that. Yes, put on that armor of God. Amen. Thank you. I appreciate the shout out. I really do. It means a lot to me. It's my whole goal in this channel is to help people understand just how much they are loved and how much power they have just in being who they are. They don't have to have a title or a degree or money in their pocket. They already are somebody. So many times we let ourselves say, well, I could make a difference if I was somebody. No, you are somebody, and I hope that you know that. Thank you. I appreciate that. That looks pretty darn cool. All right, I think I'm happy with it. Let's put it in its context. I'm gonna kill the outline of it. We don't need that anymore. I'm gonna pull the buildings back up in the moon and our little thing here, and then I'll put it in position and see how it looks. Okay. Our flying saucer. And I'll resize it to fit back where it was. Yes, God has indeed made all of us very special, each of us for a unique purpose and with a unique plan. I mean, he's the ultimate author, right? Ding. Boop, 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 boop. I'm not sure it still communicates flying saucer. There's not enough darks, and that's one of the reasons why I was checking to see at the resized version, did it actually do its job? And no, it needs more darks. It's losing bits and pieces of itself in the translation. That's something you always want to check when you're doing your art, is does it work at the size where it's supposed to live, or do things get muddied and mixed up? And if things are getting muddied and mixed up, then look at where you can fix your darks and make them darker, where you can fix your lights and make them lighter, just to give it that differentiation that it needs. Amen. Amen. Oh, it can be. It can be. And we may, that maybe end up be what we do with it, as we bring it closer. But it wasn't originally intended to be a focal point, but like I said, you know, this is our drawing. We get to change what we want. If things aren't working the way we want them to, we get to change them. That's the beauty of it. We are flexible. We are allowed to make changes. Oh, I don't usually show my face on camera for the art because I want the art to be the focus. But if there's enough of a demand, I will flip on the camera for a second or two. Oh, yeah, that's a little better. Just a little better job of differentiating things. Yeah. So it kind of looks like a mushroom cap, though, but I'm okay with that. Okay. So there we are. That's done. I like the fact that it's gold. We can turn back on the rest of the stuff now so we can see what else is going on and make our next decision as to what we're going to handle. We could do this little apartment building here in the corner where the dude face is standing. Dude face, I know that's such a technical term, right? We could turn this center thing into a river, like maybe a canal that's running through the city. Kind of be... Oh, this is so... It would be an interesting choice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Thursdays are really the only time I do tend to show my face. When I'm doing real talk, because you know, I just want that face-to-face connection with you. I think we're gonna do this. I know this is a little bit of an odd choice, but I think we're gonna do this center thing as a green river, like kind of a toxic chemical sludge. Sounds kind of gross, but you know, it's one of those things that happens when your industrial chemistry gets out of whack and you start worrying about profits more than you start worrying about people. So we're gonna just make that a strip down there and through that canal and maybe out into the distance. Oh wait, you know, it would help if I really did do something important, which is it's always important to put every piece on its own layer so when you're messing around with it, it doesn't muck around with other things. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop this down here beneath the canal, beneath the bridge. Ba-doop boop. And we're going to drop this in. That kind of unhealthy green, sickly nastiness. Oh. I mean, it is the future, which the future could be good, but it could also be, well, toxic. Toxic, toxic, toxic chemical smooth. Actually, here's a joke. Well, not exactly a joke, but a little known fact. When my son was growing up and they had rock band, his friends would come over and they would play with our console. We'd play as a family. I kind of named our pseudo band Toxic Chemical Smoothie because it was just, well, actually no, it was Andrew that did. Andrew suggested it. Andrew was my son's bestie. Miss that kid. And it's so kind of stuck. And ever since then I've tended to use it. Fun, fun, fun. Miss those days, but my baby's a grown boy living far, far away from mama. 6 hours. I mean, it's not the worst. He could be living in Texas, which is like 18, but let's put some darks on the sides there. Yep. Baby boys do grow up eventually. You don't want them to, but they do. And then they have babies of their own. My son's got a 6-year-old. She's so gorgeous. And I miss her so, so, so very much. We got to see her last month, but I could never see that little face enough. Toxic, toxic, toxic chemicals. Yeah, exactly. At any rate, I could go on about that. Oh. And I wrote a couple of songs for it. And I made a tour shirt for it, too. It's Not Touring Anywhere. 2027, right? It just lists a bunch of places where you won't be able to find it. It's never touring. Create a band in a box, you know, kind of thing. Buy the masks, buy the music, have an instant band to go. Sometimes I have a wicked sense of humor. Gets me in trouble. No, but we periodically call it. It just depends on when my son is awake and when he's not working, as to how much cancel. Thank you. As to how much I get to talk to her. And yeah, they do. They grow horribly fast, and before you know it, they're gone. That's the one thing I wish that I knew as a parent, was how quickly the time would pass, and that it would take virtually no time at all for him to be grown and gone. I still remember his senior year, thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this is the last year my baby's going to be home. He was going into the military, and, nothing prepares you for that. Nothing prepares you for that at all. And when he left home, it was really hard. Of course, part of it was he was our only baby. So, and it wasn't that I didn't want more kids, it was just that God didn't give me more kids. So he ended up being our only. And only natural born child. I adopted a couple of other foster kids, but not formally adopted, mind you, but took them in and still pray for them and still love on them and still hope for the best for them. But my only bio baby is my son. That just looks kind of wicked, doesn't it? My little Mia Jane. She is a darling. And really, really did just... I'd always wanted a daughter. And I didn't get to have one of my own, so I'm so grateful that she was born. And Satan tried really hard to take that little girl's life, I'm telling you. She was born 6 weeks preemie. She had the cord wrapped in a perfect bow around her neck. They weren't supposed to, her mother wasn't even supposed to be at the doctor's office for another couple of days. And if they'd have waited, it would have killed her. But as it was, Marissa had a severe case of anxiety that day, so she called her OB-GYN and got in that day. The OB-GYN took a look at her and felt something wasn't right. Sent her to the hospital, and the OB-GYN there was going to induce her and give her a natural birth, and if she had, Mia Jane would have died on the way out. But as it is, the OBGYN got this feeling at the last minute that wasn't how things should go. So she took her by C-section, and our little baby, that girl spent 4 hours, just 4, in the NICU. Said, peace out, I'm done, y'all. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I wish there was something I could do to help in that area, but nobody can take the grief away. And honestly, even if we could, this sounds harsh maybe, but the grief exists because of how deeply we love. It is the price we pay for loving people as much as we do. And so in a way, I wouldn't want to take that from you, because it would mean that you didn't really love her, that you didn't really care. And I know that that's not true. I know the relationship wasn't always easy, but I also know how deeply you loved her. And sometimes the hardest part of loving people is how much we hurt when they're gone from us. Yeah. I know there's no greater pain that a parent can experience than losing their child. Because it just feels so wrong, so counterintuitive to how life is supposed to work, right? We're supposed to, they're supposed to outlive us. That's the feeling. That's the way we want it to be, the way it should be. But one thing I will say is that as long as you make sure that Danielle's story keeps getting told, she stays in the world and she continues to have the impact that she was supposed to have. And she's never truly absent. Sometimes we make the mistake of letting the pain of losing a loved one cause us to stop telling their story and to let them die for real. But as long as we keep their story alive, they still have an impact in this world, still have a place in it. And that's just something to keep in mind. Maybe you're not ready to tell the story yet, and that's okay. Sometimes we have to heal a little bit first before we can. But that looks so wicked. Alright, now that we've got toxic sludge down here, I wonder if I should put bubbles. Little bubbles of toxic ooze. That seems like an appropriate thing to do. Oh, I'm not even paying attention to the time. Oh, I should be. Should be better than that. Bubbles would be pretty, yes. Bubbles, 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 bubbles. Who doesn't love a few bubbles? I mean, if you're gonna have toxic chemical whatever, you might as well have some bubbles going on. Toxic sludge. There we go. Now we got that toxic river going. Put some more smudge back in there. Alright, so now we got a toxic river, we got a little UFO, we got our moon that's all busted up. We got a normal looking, relatively, building over there on the side, which maybe I need to add a little light to. Just a little bit here and there. Small, small, small. Keep it small. Oh, that would help if I put it on the right layer. You're not going to see anything if you put it on the wrong layer. Tiny little smidge. That's better. That looks more like this building should. Okay. So now that we got that building kind of really effectively where we want it to be, we've got our toxic chemical smudge and sludge. Put some yellow bubbles in here too. Oh, yep, that's right. You gotta go down to the right layer. See, that's the trick. You gotta remember which layer you're on, what you're doing. All right, our futuristic city is coming together quite nicely. Thank you guys for all your ideas and suggestions. You are a huge help to this particular artist and our efforts to create things that other people just wouldn't. Things other people wouldn't create for $1,500. News at 11. All right. I am going to wrap it up here in about 5 minutes. But in the meantime, we're going to add some sidewalks down here. It's metal, some concrete sidewalks. And we're just going to do that real easy with the tracing tool. Ugh. Would help if I didn't muck it up. Alright. We'll try that again. Never mind. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up to the top, top, top. Sidewalks. And if you have anything that you would like us to know about, anything you would like us to visit, do pop it in the chat. Love to hear from you guys, what you guys are working on, what's going on in your lives. And if you have any prayer requests, if you have anything going on that you need prayer for, don't hesitate to pop that in the chat either. I have never once, nor will I ever, hesitate to pray for you guys. This maybe isn't a sidewalk but an actual road, and it's just so high up that it looks like a ribbon. That could be an interesting take on things. Maybe there's a road beside the canal, not just, and the sidewalk is beside the road. What do y'all think? Well, I don't know, because it runs into the pillar, so that wouldn't make a lot of logical sense now, would it? Got to have the logic installed in what we're doing. Of course, I suppose I could expand the bridge and make that bigger and make it take up more space than it currently does. That's a possibility. We can always change the layout. That is the beauty of what we're working on. Alright. That gives that at least shape. And I think, you know what? I think I will change the size of the bridge so that it's on either side of that throughway. T to transform it. Pull it out that way. And that way. There we go. Maybe even a little larger on this side, so we have more clearance room. Bring the bridge up, we got the slide on. Make sure it's up there. There we go. That's good. We can actually expand that bridge up, and then we can tuck it behind the moon by bringing the moon to the forefront. Yeah. Well, not quite like that. Maybe the bridge just needs to be a little bit lower. There we go. It gives us plenty of room to work with. And the bridge now is prominent. So, alright, with that, I will definitely It was great to see you too, and I will say goodnight to you all as we are gonna save this for 2026-08. And then it is the 3rd. That's our future scene. We'll save that down. And call that a stream. Thank y'all for watching. Thank